All right, so we're going to do a deep dive today into something that I think we've all struggled with at some point,
Yeah.
hiring. You know, that
Yeah.
feeling of either being the wrong fit for a job
Right.
or seeing a fantastic candidate get overlooked.
Yeah, definitely.
We are unpacking Lou Adler's Hire with Your Head to see if maybe there's a better way.
Okay.
The book's big idea is to ditch the traditional resume-focused hiring and go for a performance-based approach.
It's a it's fascinating, how much emphasis we put on what someone has done
Right.
rather than what they can actually do.
Yeah, it's like those job postings that demand 5 years of
Oh
experience
yeah.
for an entry-level position. You know, what are they actually looking for?
Well, Adler calls this the surplus of talent mindset.
Okay.
This idea that there are tons of perfectly qualified candidates out there
Yeah.
just waiting to be sifted through.
Mm,
It leads to companies focusing on weeding out the weak,
right.
rather than actively attracting the best. And in today's market, it's much more a scarcity of talent situation.
So instead of filtering out 99% of applicants just to find that 1% who fit the bill,
Right.
how does this performance-based hiring thing actually work?
Think of it like this. You're building a house,
Okay.
and instead of listing every tool you might need,
Mm-hmm.
you focus on the blueprint, the final result.
Yeah.
Adler calls this the performance profile.
Right.
It's about outlining the key objectives and deliverables of the role, defining success based on outcomes.
So instead of requiring 5 years of sales experience,
Right.
you define what that person needs to do with that experience. Hit a certain quota,
Yeah.
lands a specific type of client, something like that.
Exactly. It gives both the company and the candidate
Right.
a much clearer picture of whether it's truly the right fit.
Yeah.
Now, Adler also gives us a formula for hiring success.
Okay.
Ability plus fit to
Hmm.
motivation,
Yeah.
success.
Okay, break that down for me. Ability, fit, and motivation makes sense.
Right.
But why is fit squared?
That's where it gets interesting. By squaring fit,
Okay.
Adler highlights that it's not enough to just have the skills.
Right.
You need to thrive in the role. Fit encompasses things like aligning with the company culture,
Yeah.
meshing with the management style,
Right.
and gelling with the team.
Yeah.
You can be incredibly skilled, but if you're constantly clashing with your boss
Right.
or feeling out of place in the company culture,
Yeah.
your motivation
Mhm.
and ultimately your success will likely take a hit.
So it's about more than just ticking off a list of skills on a resume.
Right.
It's about finding someone who can really flourish in that specific environment.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the often overlooked power of the phone screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most companies treat it as just a preliminary filter,
Right.
but Adler argues it's a game changer for both sides.
Think about it. For the company, it's a chance to weed out those who might look good on paper but aren't a good fit.
Okay.
Saves everyone time and resources in the long run. For the candidate, it's an opportunity to get a real feel for the company culture and the job itself.
So it's about transparency and efficiency,
Right.
helping both sides determine if it's worth investing in a full-blown interview process.
Absolutely.
What does Adler suggest for actually conducting these game-changing phone screens?
He outlines a pretty structured approach,
Okay.
but what stands out to me is his emphasis on uncovering what he calls the achiever pattern
Okay.
in a candidate's work history.
Now, I've heard you mention this achiever pattern before.
Okay.
Can you give me a concrete example of what that looks like?
Imagine you're hiring for a project manager.
Okay.
Instead of just looking for someone who's managed projects before,
Right.
you dig deeper. Did they consistently deliver projects under budget, ahead of schedule?
Yeah.
Did they effectively navigate unexpected challenges? That's the achiever pattern.
Right.
It's about consistently exceeding expectations.
So it's not just about checking boxes.
Right.
It's about understanding how someone achieved what they did.
Exactly. And that's what sets Adler's performance-based interview apart from the traditional approach.
Well, I'm definitely intrigued to hear more about this performance-based interview.
Yeah?
How does it actually work in practice?
Well, it really flips the script. Instead of a generic question and answer session,
Right.
it's a structured deep dive into a candidate's past performance,
Oh, yeah.
focusing on how their achievements align with the specific needs of the role.
It's like a detective investigation.
Right.
Uncovering clues to see if this person is truly a top performer.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And one of the key tools Adler gives us for this investigation is a set of SMART questions.
Smart. Refresh my memory on that one.
It stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound,
Okay.
and tied to the environment.
Right.
So instead of asking a vague question like, tell me about a time you faced a challenge,
Right.
you ask something much more targeted, like, describe a project where you had to deliver under a tight deadline with limited resources. What specific steps did you take to ensure success?
So you're forcing them to provide concrete evidence of their
Exactly.
problem-solving skills and their ability to thrive under pressure.
Yeah.
No more hiding behind vague generalities.
Exactly. And by focusing on past performance in a specific environment,
Right.
you're getting a much more accurate predictor of future success than you would from hypothetical scenarios
Yeah.
or those dreaded greatest weakness questions.
Okay, so let's say we've mastered the art of the performance-based interview.
Okay.
We've narrowed down our pool of candidates to those who have the skills, the experience, and that all-important achiever pattern.
Right.
But how do we actually convince these top performers to join our team, especially when we might not be able to offer the highest salary?
That's where Adler's 30% solution comes in.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that compensation is only one piece of the puzzle.
So what makes up the other 70% spill the secrets?
Think about it. What truly motivates top performers?
Right.
It's not just about the money. It's about the opportunity to do meaningful work, to learn and grow, to make a real impact.
It's about feeling valued and challenged,
Yeah,
not just being another cog in the machine.
exactly. And that's what the 30% solution is all about.
Right.
Showcasing the non-monetary value proposition of the job. Things like job stretch,
Okay.
the opportunity to take on new challenges and expand their skill set, faster growth,
Right.
maybe a clearer path to promotion or leadership opportunities,
Okay.
greater impact,
Mm-hmm.
the chance to work on projects that align with their passions or make a real difference, a more satisfying work-life balance,
Right.
maybe flexible hours, or the ability to work remotely.
So it's about painting a picture of a career, not just a job.
Exactly. And by focusing on these elements,
Right.
we can often outweigh a higher salary offer from a competitor because ultimately top performers are looking for more than just a paycheck. They're looking for a place where they can thrive and reach their full potential.
But even with the best performance-based hiring practices in place,
Right.
there's always the risk of losing great candidates to counteroffers.
Yeah.
How does Adler suggest we navigate those tricky waters?
He emphasizes the importance of being proactive and addressing potential counteroffers head on.
So not just waiting for the candidate to drop the bomb
Yeah, right.
that they've received another offer.
Right. It's about having open and honest conversations throughout the process.
Okay.
Building that trust and rapport so they feel comfortable sharing their concerns or any other offers they might be considering.
So it's about keeping the lines of communication open
Exactly.
and making sure they feel heard and understood.
Exactly. And it's also about reinforcing the value proposition of the job
Right.
and reminding them of all the reasons why they were initially excited about this opportunity.
Because sometimes in the heat of a bidding war, it's easy to lose sight of those initial motivations and get caught up in the numbers game.
Absolutely. And that's where the 30% solution comes back into play.
Right.
It's a reminder that there's more to a job than just the salary.
It's about the whole package.
Sure.
The work, the culture, the growth opportunities, the work-life balance.
Exactly. And by appealing to both their head and their heart,
Right.
we can increase the chances of them choosing us, even if another company is dangling a slightly larger paycheck.
This all makes so much sense, but it also raises a question for me. We've been talking about finding the right fit for individual roles,
Right.
but what about the bigger picture? How do we create a company culture that consistently attracts and retains top talent?
That's where Adler's concept of a win-win hiring culture comes into play. And this is about more than just individual hiring decisions.
Okay.
It's about creating a system that values talent, promotes growth, and fosters a sense of shared success.
So it's about moving beyond just filling seats and thinking about talent as a strategic asset.
Precisely. And it starts with leadership.
Okay.
Leaders need to buy into the idea that investing in talent is crucial for long-term success.
It's about recognizing that your people are your most valuable asset.
And that means creating a work environment where people feel valued, challenged, and empowered to do their best work,
Right.
where they have opportunities to learn and grow and advance their careers.
It sounds like this win-win hiring culture is about creating a workplace where people actually want to stay.
Exactly. And that's not just good for employees, it's good for the bottom line. Because when you have engaged and motivated employees, you have higher productivity, lower turnover, and ultimately greater success.
It seems like this all ties back to that shift in mindset we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
From focusing on what someone has to what they can do,
Right.
from a surplus of talent mentality to a scarcity of talent approach.
It's about recognizing that talent is a precious resource and investing the time and effort to find, attract, and retain the best people.
This has been a fantastic deep dive into the heart of performance-based hiring.
Mm.
We've covered a lot of ground, from uncovering the achiever pattern to crafting smart questions to building a win-win hiring culture.
Yeah.
But there's one piece of the puzzle we haven't talked about yet: the role of technology in this whole process.
Ah, yes. Technology can be a powerful tool for streamlining the hiring process
Right.
and helping us make more informed decisions.
But I imagine it's not about replacing human judgment, right?
Absolutely not. It's about using technology to enhance our human capabilities,
Okay.
to help us sift through data, identify patterns, and surface insights that we might otherwise miss.
So it's about using technology to make the hiring process more efficient, effective, and equitable.
Exactly. And in the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore some of the specific ways that technology is transforming the hiring landscape
Okay.
and helping companies build a more human-centered approach to talent acquisition.
Stay tuned for the exciting conclusion of our exploration of Hire with Your Head.
All right.
Okay, so we're back.
Yeah.
Ready to wrap up our deep dive into Hire with Your Head.
All right.
We've talked about ditching the traditional resume focus,
Right.
finding those hidden achiever pattern gems,
Yeah.
and even how to make a job offer irresistible,
Mm.
even if it's not the highest paying one out there.
Right.
But now, let's talk about how tech can help us build a better hiring process.
It's amazing, how much technology has changed the hiring game. We've gone from sifting through stacks of paper resumes to using sophisticated algorithms to analyze candidate data and predict future performance.
It feels like a double-edged sword, though, right? On one hand, you have the potential to remove some of the human bias from the process.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you risk losing that personal touch.
That's the key. It's
Yeah.
about striking the right balance.
Right.
Technology should never replace human judgment,
Right.
but it can definitely enhance it.
Okay.
Think of it as a tool to augment our abilities,
Mhm.
not a replacement for them.
So give me some concrete examples. How can we use technology to improve the hiring process without losing that all-important human element?
Well, one area where technology can be incredibly helpful is in sourcing and screening candidates. There are tools that use AI and machine learning to scan resumes and profiles, identifying those who possess the specific skills and experience we're looking for.
So instead of spending hours manually sifting through hundreds of applications,
Right.
recruiters can use these tools to quickly surface the most promising candidates.
Exactly. And it's not just about keywords.
Okay.
These tools can analyze language patterns and even identify hidden connections between candidates and our existing employees or our company's network. It's like having a super-powered research assistant working around the clock.
That sounds impressive.
Yeah.
But I'm still a little wary of relying too heavily on algorithms.
Yeah.
How do we ensure that we're not inadvertently screening out potentially great candidates just because they don't fit a certain profile?
That's where human oversight comes in. These tools should be used to inform our decisions, not to make them for us.
Okay.
We still need recruiters and hiring managers to review the data to assess cultural fit and to conduct those all-important performance-based interviews.
So it's about using technology to streamline the process, not to automate it completely.
Exactly. And another area where technology can be incredibly helpful is in assessing candidates.
Okay.
There are tools that can administer pre-employment assessments, evaluate skills, and even analyze video interviews to identify patterns and insights that might be missed by the human eye.
So we can use these tools to get a more objective and data-driven view of a candidate's abilities and potential.
Precisely. But again, it's important to remember that these tools are just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
We still need to consider the whole person, their experience, their motivations, their cultural fit.
It's about using technology to augment our understanding, not to replace it.
Exactly. And beyond sourcing, screening, and assessment technology can also play a key role in creating a more engaging and efficient candidate experience.
Okay.
Think about chatbots that can answer common questions.
Right.
Automated scheduling tools and personalized communication platforms that keep candidates informed throughout the process.
Those are all great examples. It's about using technology to create a more human-centered experience, not a more robotic one.
And it's about freeing up our recruiters and hiring managers to focus on what they do best.
Right.
Building relationships, understanding motivations, and making those crucial assessments about fit and potential.
It sounds like technology can be a powerful ally in our quest to build a better hiring process.
Absolutely.
But as with any tool, it's important to use it wisely and ethically.
Absolutely. We need to be mindful of the potential biases that can be embedded in algorithms and take steps to mitigate them. And we need to ensure that we're using technology in a way that respects the privacy and dignity of all candidates.
It's about using technology to create a more fair and equitable hiring process, not to perpetuate existing inequalities.
That's the ultimate goal.
Right.
To use technology to create a hiring process that is both effective and human-centered.
Yes.
Process that helps companies find the best talent while also creating a positive and respectful experience for all candidates.
This deep dive into Hire with Your Head has been incredibly insightful.
I agree.
It's clear that the old ways of hiring are no longer serving us well,
Right.
and that there's a better way forward, a way that focuses on performance fit and mutual benefit.
It's about shifting from a surplus of talent mindset to a scarcity of talent approach. It's about recognizing that talent is a precious resource and investing the time and effort to find, attract, and retain the best people.
And it's about using technology to enhance our human capabilities, not to replace them, to create a hiring process that is both effective and human-centered.
Well said.
We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive and found it valuable, and we encourage you to explore these ideas further and consider how you can apply them to your own hiring practices and career decisions.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep diving deep.